Today, I'm going to show you how you can sound design a sub bass that sounds deeper but also hits really hard in your tracks. Hi, my name is Leo Loretti. I'm a producer and owner of Abstract Music Lab, and I'm stoked to be here on PML's channel. In today's video, we're going to learn how to design a sub bass that sounds deep, clean, and also really stable in your low end. You're going to learn how to redesign the wavetable and distribute the harmonics so your bass hits as hard as it can. So now, let's dive right in. When using sub basses, you might think that using a sine wave is the best option that you can do, and this is how it sounds like. And you can feel that this is a bit too empty. It just has a lot of booming in the low end, but nothing over here in the high end. So we might want to go for something a bit different, like a saw wave. And this has a bit more harmonics, but at the same time, it's also a bit more unstable. So one is too clean, one is a bit too unstable. And we might want to use something like this. The wave shape might seem a little bit odd to you, but I'll show you how to make it so you can get the best power out of your bass line as well. By the way, you can get this project over here in the description below for free and take a deep dive into it so you can learn how you do everything in it. But now let's dive into the sound design. To design a bass line like this, we're gonna go here in Serum and we're gonna just use and start with a saw wave, and it sounds like this. Just so you can listen to what we want to achieve. The reason why we're starting with a saw wave is because it's simple, it contains a full set of harmonics, and that gives a lot of materials for us to work with. But no unison, no effects. We have effects here that we're going to activate afterwards, but for now, no effects, no unison, no anything, and this is how it sounds like. So to get started, we're going to go here and open the Wavetable editor, and the first thing that you see are a lot of bins. But what are bins? Bins represent the harmonics of the sound. The first one being the first fundamental, the second one being this fundamental over here, and so on. But you can see that some of them are highlighted, right? This one is highlighted, this one is highlighted. These are the octaves. So first octave, second octave, third octave, fourth octave, and so on. And the ones that are not highlighted, these are the harmonics, which are not the octaves of the sound. Now, if you go over here, the lower we go, the more to the low end we are, and the higher we go, the more character we have. So this lower part over here represents the energy of this bass line, as you can see it over here. So step number 3, we have here two sets of bins, the upper bins and the lower bins. And what are they doing? The upper bins are the volumes. So these are just the volumes of the individual bins over here. Now, the lower one adjusts the phase of each individual bin. For example, let's go into a sine wave. You can see that when I change this here, it adjusts the volume of the sine wave, while when I adjust this here, it adjusts the phase of the sine wave. And that's pretty much how everything reacts over here in the Wavetable editor. So, for example, if I have more bins active and I just adjust bin number 1 in the phase, you can see how it changes the wavetable. Or if I just adjust the volume, it also changes the wavetable. Step number 4, what is the most common problems that we see in subs? Essentially, a lot of the subs just focus here on this first bin, and they have it so loud, which may sound good in isolation before, but it may cause you also a bit of mixing problems. For example, it eats your headroom, it fights with the kick, and it often feels a bit too unstable and boomy instead of deep and powerful. So getting started over here, the first thing that we're going to do is deactivate this update FFT because this distorts how the wavetable shapes as we go moving along. And we're going to delete the bin number 1 over here. And this is how it sounds. Before. We're telling the fundamental to support the bass, but not to lead the bass. And that leads us to step number 6. Now we're going to make the bin number 2 become a bit louder. And bin number 2 is the octave above the fundamental. This is going to make the bass a bit stronger, give a better perception of depth, and also work a lot better on small speakers, as you can listen. Before and after. It feels stronger and more powerful, and that takes us to step number 7. Now we're going to add harmonics to this sound, and we're going to go here in bin number 4, which is another octave up, and raise it a bit. And also bin number 6. Raise it a bit. And you can see how this adds body and presence without introducing the harshness and the buzz that a normal saw wave would have. But at the same time, it doesn't look like what we had before, because we have to go here in bin number 2 in the phase and change the phase a little bit to somewhere like this. And when you compare, now this looks a lot more like what we had before, and this is the bass line that we're working with today. It's a smoother bass, more present in the song as you can listen here. And will also be more present in smaller speakers as well. Now you might be asking yourself, should I also layer this with another sub in the bottom? As you can listen over here, if we go and play kick and bass, you can see the kick over here, and you can see the bass over here. Should you also play this with another sub? It depends. It depends because if we play another bass over here, which is this C sharp, and if we play it over here down below, it could be a bit too low, as you can listen over here. Not only this, but it sounds a bit too crowded. But it also depends on the frequency that you're playing, because if we go here and instead of playing C sharp, now we're playing, let's say G. Now, can we see how you miss a bit of low end over here because it's now suddenly a bit too empty down below? And if we go here and play another sub, this feels better because we're also feeling this space right above the kick. So that doesn't mean that in this situation you need another sub, especially if we're just playing that C sharp that we had before. However, if you're playing a higher note, that might suggest you to play a higher sub. And if you do, what I recommend you to do is just duplicate it over here, duplicate this channel, create one channel only with the sub and one channel only with this bass. So this way you can control the level of the sub independently from the level of this rest of the bass, this top bass, let's say like this. And not only this, but you can sidechain your sub differently than how you sidechain your bass if you want to as well. This isn't a rule, it's a decision that you're gonna have to take depending on the track, the key, and the style that you're playing in your song. The key takeaway of this video is how to use harmonics to lead your bass to sounding more powerful and also to make it sound more present in your song as well. And if this helps you understand Serum's Wavetable editor a bit more, leave a like over here in the video, and if you love the content, subscribe to the channel. If you want more content like this, and I'd love to know if you want more content on kick and bass and all the ways that you can manage the same thing, leave it over here and we'll definitely do more videos about it as well. This is Lilo Reddy from Abstract Music Lab signing off. Ciao.